Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Okay, let's. Okay, we'll start. 1 more minute, okay? Let's wait for 1 more minute. Okay. So to continue, is my voice audible? Hello, can I start now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then okay, so we were studying about the secretory activities of the digestive system. We have started with the saliva secretion, and in that we discussed about the composition of saliva of non-ruminant animals and ruminant animals. In case of the omnivorous animals, saliva is having salivary amylase, the omnivorous animals, and also simple stomach herbivorous animals. Okay. In that means in them salivary amylase starts its action in the buccal cavity from the mouth itself, and it starts its digestion on carbohydrates. Okay, but in case of the ruminant animals, the digestive ability, okay, the digestive process starts with the process of chewing and rumination in the mouth, but there is no enzymatic digestion. Okay, that you remember. And in case of the canines, it is the physical digestion. Okay, say the process of mastication is going to reduce the size of the food into smaller particles, and that will be passed on to the esophagus and then to the stomach. Okay, and the passage, during the passage of the food substance from the mouth to the stomach, there has to be a coordination between the respiratory system and the digestive system. So during the process of swallowing, the respiratory activity is inhibited. You remember this, okay? So there will be no respiration at the time of swallowing. So when there is process of swallowing, when the food is passing through the esophagus and reaching to the stomach, in case of the true simple stomach animals, and in case of the ruminant animals, during this time there will be inhibition of respiration. There will be neither inspiration or expiration. Diagrammatically, I can show you. You have a look on this figure. You see, there is common passage. So this is the mouth. Okay, this is the mouth ending towards the esophagus. Okay, so there is common passage for food as well as air. Okay, the air will be passing through the trachea during inspiration, and the food will be passing to the food will be passing to the esophagus. Okay, so there is common passage. So if the trachea remains open while the food is passing from the mouth to the stomach, means through the esophagus, it may go to the trachea. So it does not happen. So to prevent that, the passage for the air has to be blocked. Okay, so see in this, when there is no food to be swallowed, when there is no food over here, when the glottis, okay, the glottis keeps the air passage open, the trachea. Okay, so the air will come from the nose and will pass to the trachea. But when food is present in the mouth cavity, okay, when food is present in the mouth cavity, in that the soft palate is lifted up. Okay, so you see in this figure, the soft palate is placed down, and that along with the glottis, okay, opens the trachea. Okay, but when the food needs to be passed on, it has to be swallowed. In that case, the soft palate is lifted up and the glottis is moved towards the esophagus, closing the passage to the trachea. Okay, so the respiration is inhibited at this time. So it does not allow the food materials to go to the trachea. Okay, you remember this. Okay, so respiration is inhibited at the time of swallowing. This you have to remember. Okay, if not, the food will go to the trachea and it will reside inside the lungs, and then it is going to cause several other complications. Okay, so this is one part. So what I was telling, that after the food has been mixed with the saliva coming from the salivary glands, it is ready to be passed on to the esophagus. And during this passage, due to the contraction of the muscles, okay, contraction of the smooth muscle of the esophagus, it will allow the food to pass from the mouth to the stomach. But the stomach has 4 separate portions. Okay, there are 4 separate portions in the stomach. Who are they? One is the esophageal part of the stomach. Okay, the esophageal part of the stomach, that means the stomach which is closest to the esophagus. Okay, and that portion of the esophageal portion of the stomach, that is non-glandular. Okay, so that means that is non-glandular, and that is lined by the striated squamous epithelium. Okay, so you see here. So, and in that case, the striated squamous epithelium, that is the non-glandular portion, you see over here, it is in the horse. It is occupying the maximum area. So this is represented, this figure is representing the stratified squamous non-glandular portion of the stomach. Okay, so in case of the ruminant animals, you see, in case of the ruminant animals, in cow, the portions occupied by rumen, reticulum and omasum, they are also lined by stratified squamous epithelium. Okay, and these portions do not have any glandular secretion. They do not play in any role in the secretion of any substance. Okay, so there is no gland present in this esophageal portion of the stomach. The esophageal portion is more prominent in case of the horse. Okay, so there is no mucus, no acid, no proteolytic enzyme produced in this portion. And the horse has the comparatively larger esophageal stomach compartment, but this portion is very small in case of dog, pig, and cow. Okay, so this portion is very small. So we are talking about the true stomach portion. Okay, so, but this kind of the non-glandular portion is present in the forestomach. Okay, but in the stomach this will be continued, and that is very less in case of the cow in the abomasum portion. Okay, next portion is the cardia of the stomach, that is the stomach's part, that is the cardia portion. Okay, and that is represented by this black color in these figures. Okay, so this portion, the cardia portion here, and this is a very small amount of the esophageal portion, very small amount in case of the human beings also, and this black portion is indicating the cardia portion. Okay, so in this you see here, this is the cardia portion. Okay, so this is the esophagus, the abomasum portion. That abomasum is the true stomach in case of the ruminants. So this cardia portion, this is a glandular portion, means it has secretory cells. The cells have secretory activity. Okay, so the glands, the mucosa. Okay, so in and around of this cardia portion there will be deep pits. Okay, there will be invaginations onto the walls of the stomach, and those invaginations will be lined by simple columnar epithelial cells. Okay, and these glands, the glands present in the cardia portion, they produce thick mucus and buffer. Okay, some salts are produced over here. Okay, so the mucus producing cells are present in the cardia stomach. Okay, so this mucus and the buffers, what they do, their function is they adhere, means they remain attached. Okay, they keep a coat onto the cells. Okay, the cells all over the stomach. Okay, so that they will be coating the cells to protect the epithelium from proteolytic enzymes and the acid. The proteolytic enzyme and the acid, they will be produced by some another portion of the stomach. Okay, so that will be coming from other portions of the stomach. So this proteolytic enzyme and the acids, they will they may destroy the wall of the stomach if they are not prevented. Okay, so to protect from this proteolytic enzyme and the acid, the mucus and the buffers secreted, okay, from the cardia stomach will give a coating. Okay, so what is the function of this mucus? It will prevent the stomach wall. Okay, so that is the reason why, even though the stomach secretes high amount of acid, when acid is present in very high concentration in the stomach walls are not destroyed. Even though protein digesting enzymes are secreted continuously, the stomach wall is not digested. by those enzymes. Why? Because there is continuous secretion of the mucus and the buffers. The buffers will give a buffering action to the acids, and the mucus will give a coating. They will adhere onto the cells of the stomach wall. Okay, and specifically pigs. Okay, specifically pigs. They have a very large portion of cardia stomach. Okay, the cardia portion in the stomach is very, very big in case of pig. Okay, so the pig has a very large cardia, the dog has a very small cardia, and the horse and the cow have no cardia. Okay, so the horse and the cow have almost no cardia, very less amount of cardia. Okay, the next portion is the proper fundic portion, the stomach proper or the fundic stomach. Okay, the stomach proper or fundic stomach. Okay, so this portion is a glandular compartment. So here, okay, in this figure, this white portion that is indicating the proper gastric portion. Okay, the proper stomach portion, the fundic portion. Okay, so here, okay, here. So in case of the llama, it is like this. So the cardia is distributed like this. Okay, so in this portion of the stomach, the cells in the glands. Okay, so the gland is a group of the cells, and each gland will be composed of numbers of cells. They will be lined by numbers of the epithelial cells. So the cells in the glands in this portion are cells that produce acid, proteolytic enzymes, hormones, and mucus. That means in this portion of the stomach, the glands are present, and in those glands multiple number of cells are present. One type of the cell will secrete the acid, another type of cells will secrete proteolytic enzymes, another type will secrete hormones, and another type will secrete mucus. Okay, so all four types of the secretions will be available in the gastric proper. Okay, so all mammals have a fundic stomach, and it is generally the largest compartment within the stomach. Okay, so this portion is indicating the abomasum, and here it is the larger portion. So this is indicating the whole stomach, and this is occupying a larger portion. Okay, so this is all about the different portions of the stomach in different species. Okay, so then we are talking about the gastric proper and the fourth portion. Okay, the fourth portion of the stomach. Okay, so that is the pyloric stomach. Okay, and this portion is also a glandular portion. So here you can see the pyloric portion here. Okay. The pyloric portion, and this portion has moderately deep glands lined by epithelial cells. Okay, so the cells of these glands produce mucus and buffer, but there is no acid secretion or there is no proteolytic enzymes. That means in this portion of the stomach, there will be no acid secretion, there will be no proteolytic enzyme secretion, but there is secretion of mucus and there is secretion of buffers. Okay, so it also has a notable population of enteroendocrine cells. Okay, enteroendocrine cells, and one enteroendocrine cell type that is called Z cell produce the hormone gastrin in response to distension of the stomach or a rise in pH in the stomach. Okay, so the stomach proper, okay, the stomach proper portion when is secreting the acid secretion, and when the food is present over here and it is distended, it will lead to the stimulation of the Z cells present in the pylorus, and it will lead to secretion of gastrin hormone. Okay, so all mammals have a pyloric stomach that has and it close time. Okay, so control the stomach is all about the different parts of the stomach. Okay, so now let's go to the different types of the cells present in the stomach. Okay, in the glandular portion of the stomach. Okay, so what are those cell types in the stomach? Epithelial glands. So you see, this is the wall of the inner wall of the stomach. Okay, the inner wall will be like this, and there is invagination on the mucosa of the stomach wall. That means here is the wall, okay, and there is some deep invagination. That means this wall is the mucosa, and below will be the submucosa, and so there is invagination, and on this invagination there are epithelial cells lining the invaginated portion in the stomach. Okay, and these epithelial cells are of different types. Okay, in the stomach proper, they are of 4 types, I said. Okay, so there, who are they? The glands are cylindrical types. So these invagination, this is one gland, okay, and this gland is a cylindrical type. The excretory duct of the glands open into the stomach through a narrow opening called the glandular neck. That means this gland is lined by epithelial cells, and this is the duct, okay, and this duct will open onto the surface of the stomach. Okay, and the glands consist of 4 types of cells. There is Mucus Nexus. That means in this gland, the cells which are near to the neck of the gland, they are termed as Mucus Nexus, and they secrete mucin. Okay, so this Mucus Nexus secrete mucin. Okay, another group of the cells are there. They are called Parietal Cells or oxytic cells. Okay, so they are indicated over here. Okay, another group of cells are chip cells, also called as peptic cells. Okay, and another group of cells, they are in broadly they are categorized as endocrine cells. And those endocrine cells, they may be the Z cells or they may be enterochromaffin cells. Is it okay up to this? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I think there is nothing much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you must be knowing already all these things, but it is just a only thing is that these locations, the locations and distributions of these glands are different in different portions of the stomach. Okay, so that much you should know. And what are the names of those cells present in the stomach epithelial glands, and what are their respective secretions. Okay, so these I want to show in the form of a table. Okay, so name of the gland, that is the mucus neck cells. Okay, and they are forming the isthmus of the gland. Isthmus is the neck-like structure. That means, when a road is going and it suddenly becomes smaller and then it becomes bigger, that smaller portion, just like neck-like structure, we call it as the isthmus. Okay, so that is the isthmus of the gland is formed by the mucus nexus, and their secretion is mucus. Okay, the mucus gel. Okay, and these mucus cells, where are they present? They are present in the stomach proper and the pyloric. Okay, the stomach proper again is having the cardiac part and the funding part. Okay, then the parietal cells. Okay, or also called the oxyntic cells. They are forming the body of the gland, and their secretions are axial and intrinsic factor. So intrinsic factor is one such chemical which helps in the absorption of vitamin B12 from the stomach. Okay, so the vitamin, intrinsic factor is secreted by the parietal cells, so it will help in the reabsorption of vitamin B12 in the digestive tract. Okay, and where are these parietal cells present? They are present in the fundic part, the cardiac part. Okay, the pyloric part as such, there is no secretion. Okay, so this is gone. Then the chip cells. Okay, so the chip cells, they are present, they are forming the base of the gland. Okay, and they secrete pepsinogen, and they are present in the fundic part. Okay, and that another group of the cells called APUD, or they are the endocrine cells or enteroendocrine cells. They form the base of the gland, and what they do, there is secretion from gastrin from the Z cells and histamine from enterochromaffin like cells. Okay, and they are present in the fundic part, the cardiac part, and the pyloric part. Okay, so the main purpose here is you have to know the names of the types of the cells and their respective secretions. Is it okay up to this?
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
so then
yes,
how this secretion is happening? So this, you consider this is a portion of that gland, that cylindrical gland. Okay, and this is one epithelial cell, this is another epithelial cell, and this is another epithelial cell, this is another epithelial cell. Okay, you can imagine here. So these are those mucus nexus which are responsible for secretion of mucus. So this cell is indicating one oxyntic or parietal cell. Okay, one parietal cell is again lined by this it is having a depression over here. Okay, before it opens to the duct inside the gland. Do you get? So this is the duct. Okay, and there will be one cell here, one cell here, another like this. Okay, so when we view here, again this cell is again having a pit over here, and that pit is entering inside like this. Okay, and it is having a villus-like projections. The covering of this epithelial cell is again having a villus-like projection. Okay, and this depression, okay, the depression inside of this oxyntic cell, okay, is called canaliculum. That means canal, and again further smaller canal, that is the canaliculum. Okay, so this ACL, this oxyntic cell will be producing ACL. How? The hydrogen ion will be produced over here and it will come to this canaliculum. Okay, chlorine will also come from here and added into this canaliculum, and then hydrogen and the chloride will combine and will form ICL, and the ICL so formed here in this canaliculum will come out of this canaliculum and will be poured into the duct. Okay, out of the canaliculum and it will be poured into the duct. That means the ICL produced over here in this oxyntic cell will be poured into this duct. Okay, and then that ICL will come out of the stomach, okay, out of this canal, okay, out of this duct, and it will be present over here on the surface of the stomach. Okay, is it okay? So the ICL is formed at the villus-like projections inside this canaliculum, and when stimulated, the parietal cells secrete an acid solution, and the pH of this acid is about 0.8. Okay, that means it is even less than 1. And that contains about 160 millimoles of hydrochloric acid per liter. Okay, almost exactly isotonic with the body fluids. Okay, so the ACL secreted from the parietal cell is isotonic with other body fluids. Then ACL is then conducted through the canaliculum to the exterior. How it is secreted, okay, so I will explain that molecular mechanism. So this is the extracellular fluid and this is the parietal cell, okay, and this is the lumen of the canaliculus. Okay, that means this is the extracellular fluid and this is the canaliculum, and this is the inside of the oxyntic cell. Okay, you just imagine. Okay, so this is the inside of the parietal cell, surrounding is the extracellular fluid, and the next compartment is the lumen of the canaliculum. Okay, then so how this molecular how these reactions happen is that this parietal cell receives carbon dioxide from outside of the cell. Okay, the carbon dioxide is easily diffusible, so carbon dioxide diffuses from extracellular fluid to the parietal cell. So when more and more of the carbon dioxide is present, then more and more of the carbon dioxide will easily pass into the parietal cell. Okay, water is already present inside of each of the cells. That means each of the cells are having some intracellular fluid. That water dissociates into hydroxyl ion and hydrogen ion. Okay, then what happens, that hydroxyl ion combines with the carbon dioxide which has diffused from extracellular fluid. Okay, then this carbon dioxide and the hydrogen ion, they will combine to form the bicarbonate. So bicarbonate so formed is ready to go to the extracellular fluid. Okay, now that means when one hydrogen ion is formed over here, one bicarbonate ion will be released from parietal cell to the extracellular fluid. Okay, so when more and more of the carbon dioxide diffuses to the parietal cell, there will be more and more hydrogen ion liberation, and each hydrogen ion liberation will lead to formation of one bicarbonate ion. Okay, so now the concentration of hydrogen ion will go up here. Okay, then what happens at side by side? What happens at the basolateral membrane of this parietal cell? So this is the apical end and this is the basolateral surface. At the basolateral surface, there is presence of sodium-potassium pump. So what does this pump do? The sodium-potassium pumps 2 potassium in and 3 sodium out. Okay, so due to this, more and more of the potassium is added inside of the cell. You know that intracellularly potassium is present in the higher concentration, but due to the presence of the sodium-potassium pump at the basolateral membrane, there is more influx of sodium to inside of the parietal cell. Okay, so due to this, the potassium concentration goes up. Okay, while the sodium is removed more and more, due to that, the cell is deprived of sodium in the can of sodium, because this area is extracellular, that sodium will influx. Okay, so there will be influx of sodium to enable to pump out, and this pumping out enables the potassium is present over here. Potassium can easily diffuse from the parietal cell to the canaliculus. So what will happen? The potassium concentration will be again So this will maintain a balance in the potassium concentration, because potassium needs to be counter-transported for hydrogen ion inside through the active means. That means P is indicating the involvement of energy over here. That means there is a requirement of 1 ATP. Okay, 1 ATP converting to ATP. So this potassium transport is enabled only because the potassium is regularly diffusing from the parietal cell to the canaliculus. Okay, so due to this counter transport of potassium, there will be movement of 1 hydrogen ion to the canaliculus. Okay, and on the another side, what happens? Chloride is an extracellular ion. An ion, it can easily diffuse from the extracellular fluid to the parietal cell, and from the parietal cell, it is transported to the canaliculus by active transport. So there will be presence of hydrogen ion and there will be presence of chloride ion. Now this hydrogen and the chloride will combine and will form the HCl. Okay, so this is the mechanism of secretion of hydrochloric acid from the oxytic cells. Okay, so you have to read 3-4 times, okay, to understand this. For that, you have to know that the sodium potassium pump is present at the basolateral surface of the cell. Anywhere wherever we discuss about the sodium potassium pump, it will be always present at the basolateral surface. Okay, so it is going to pump 2 potassium in and 3 sodium out, and that is happening against the concentration gradient. So this is responsible to enable the hydrogen ion to move out of the parietal cell against the movement of 1 potassium in. Okay, and the chloride, which is present in a higher concentration, extracellularly moves to the parietal cell, and then it moves to the canaliculus against the concentration gradient through the active means. Okay, and this chloride will combine with hydrogen ion and will form the HCl. Okay, this is the mechanism of HCl secretion by parietal cell. Is it okay up to this?
Yes, ma'am.
You have to read the
Yes,
theoretical portion, okay? This part is important. You have to read the theoretical explanation. I have given you already. You read 3-4 times, okay? So first of all, you start from here. When you read, you start from here, this portion, okay? In this, what you have to know is that carbon dioxide is highly diffusible across the cell membranes. This you have to know, okay? And water is moving through the osmosis. As these ions are added over here in the canaliculus, water will be dragged, right? When the osmolarity is higher, in order to maintain the osmolarity, the water will move from lower concentration to higher concentration, right? So water movement is through osmosis. Carbon dioxide is easily diffusible, okay? And sodium and potassium movement is against the concentration gradient through sodium potassium pump. This you have to understand, okay? The regulation part, I better do in the next class. There are too many we have discussed today. Do you want to continue further, or shall we stop here? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
What?
Yes, ma'am.
Better we stop here, okay? So we have covered the different portions of the stomach, different cells in the stomach gland, their location in different portions of the stomach, and the secretions of different types of cells, okay? And mechanism of secretion of HCl, okay? In broad way, we have discussed four topics here. Okay. If you want to ask anything, you ask. If not, you can leave.
No, ma'am.
Okay, you read, okay? So try to remember different types of the cells, their respective secretions. Those points you try to remember.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. I'm leaving the class, okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.